Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to episode 9 of Print All the Things. This is my 3D printing podcast where we talk about 3D printing news and also the past week of what I've been doing with the printer and what filaments I've been using and what models I've been printing. This is episode 9 of a series. If you haven't checked it out already, go to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Bwana. I'm also on Spotify. You can subscribe to the podcast and hear or watch all the 3D printing stuff that we do here. It was a really exciting week this week. I got to dive into some new filaments, and I'm also in the middle of doing sort of a project with my setup here, which we'll probably discuss on next week because I'm not done yet. I want to show you guys the finished product. And we also been seeing some pretty cool news, which is a good segue to talk about what is in the news this week. JayzTwoCents. Let's talk about him. JayzTwoCents, we talked about him in the, I think about 2 or 3 episodes ago. JayzTwoCents got into 3D printing, and he got himself a Lulzbot printer from Micro Center. He posted an updated post. We're going to go with that. He posted an updated post on his progress and some really good news. He got a new printer from Micro Center. He got a new Ender 5 Plus, and it's very cool to see him go through the process of learning a 3D printer because it gives other people insight as to what is involved. Now, there's several schools of thought here as to how you should start 3D printing, and Jayz is going through, one of the routes, and one of those routes is he's going through the Lulzbot Ender route, and he's kind of comparing a very expensive printer like the Lulzbot to a more inexpensive printer like the Ender. And it's very cool that he's already seeing some glaring differences between philosophies. One's a tinkerer's box, and one is kind of one that has a lot of bells and whistles and things that'll help you and conveniences, if you will. It's very cool to see him do this. So he was going through the process of printing check cubes, calibrating, learning about flow, learning about temperature control, learning about different filaments and stuff. And just the whole process of how important bed leveling is. All these things that you do as a new 3D printer owner, JayzTwoCents is going through it. He's got a massive audience, so I think it's very good for the 3D printing community that he is doing this. So go check out his video, leave a comment, like, subscribe it, show him some support. The comment section is already full of 3D printing names that I've recognized that are giving him all kinds of advice. People like, get a Prusa, do this, go watch this guy's video, go watch this, do this particular calibration. The 3D printing community. We like to help people. And that's what's happening over there. So go check it out. JayzTwoCents 3D printing journey continues, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Now, the next story we're going to talk about is very near and dear to my heart because it's about a video game that I spent many hours, tons of hours in this video game. It's called EliteDangerous, and it's a space flight simulator. And there's spaceships and space stations and space stuff everywhere. Now, those two worlds collide when it comes to 3D printing. When I first got my 3D printer, one of the first things I wanted to do was 3D print a spaceship, and I did. I 3D printed 2. I 3D printed a Cobra Mark III from the video game, and I also printed a Imperial cutter. Yeah, Imperial cutter. There's a courier cutter and clipper. All these C's. The Imperial cutter. I printed that ship. So I was very happy today to see Jaguarius on Twitter post that he has finally finished a 4-month project, which consists of 2 kilograms of plastic, 250 meters of fiber optics. And this is absolutely insane. Check this out. This is his particular project here. And I'm going to go ahead and play this so you can kind of see it in action. It's very, very awesome. The beginning's kind of frozen. That face of his is pretty hilarious. I love it. Okay, there he goes. Now he's talking. So yeah, he's got this fleet carrier. You can see it behind him. And it's got flashing lights. And it's got sounds from the actual game. It's got the comms that you hear when you fly to fleet carriers and when you dock. And he chronicles his adventure on this short tweet video that he did. And he talks about all the problems that he had and the adventures and just how he... this is one thing that I was very impressed by. He didn't decide to put lights on the thing until later. He was like, let me put lights on it. And I was like, oh, he's just going to say, oh, let me just add lights because lights are cool. I'm going to add sound because sounds are cool. So it ended up being a 4-month project, just an insane endeavor. And I got to say, it is one of the coolest, if not the coolest, Elite Dangerous 3D printing projects I have ever seen in my life. I love fleet carriers. These are my jam. We have the Bwana boat on my stream. We always talk about that. And I use a different model. He's got one of the different models of the fleet carriers here. I prefer the Nautilus model. But still, it's still very, very cool. So if you play Elite Dangerous or you know of the game, you probably have heard of fleet carriers, and these things are very massive. So he's doing a 1/3000 scale. This is a 1 meter model, and he made this one 1 meter. So it's a 3,000 meter thing in real life. If you consider real life to be a video game. Absolutely amazing. It's got great lighting, great sounds, a decent paint job, and just a massive amount of plastic. So he's got this thing mounted up with strings. Looks like to be, I don't know if he's in his basement or in a room in his house. I hope his wife is okay. If he's married, I don't know if he's married, is okay with this, because it looks like it's taking up a lot of space. But wow, what a massive project. I'm very proud of this. And I'm going to be showing this to all my Elite Dangerous friends when I see them. This is a great project, man. Check this out over on Twitter, Jaguarus, with this 3D printed Elite Dangerous Fleet Carrier, which to me is one of the best things I have ever seen when it comes to Elite Dangerous and 3D printing. Really, really cool. Okay, now let's talk about what's on the printer. What's on the printer for this week? Well, let's first start with a new printer. We got a new printer at casadebwana.twitch.tv/bwana.tv/bwanalabs.com. We got the FOKOOS Odin-5 F3, courtesy of FOKOOS. They sent me this printer, and I am absolutely floored by it. We actually did an unboxing, and I am very impressed with the out-of-box experience. And I haven't posted the video up to YouTube yet. I do plan on doing it. But it took a couple hours just to get everything going, because I was going really slow. But the process to build this thing was really, really easy. It was 2 screws, it was 2 ribbon cables, and I mean, well, actually it was 4 screws if you consider the material arm thing. 4 screws and 2 ribbon cables, and you're printing. Or you're leveling your bed, I should say. So it's a whole new world for me. As someone who has only used Prusa printers, I've only used the Prusa Mini and the Prusa MK3S, which I built from a kit. This FOKOOS printer is a whole new world in terms of, it's a printer that has a glass bed, number one. It doesn't have auto leveling, so I have to manually level the bed, and some other things. So, it's got some really quiet pulleys and it's got this really quiet, I don't know the specs of it exactly, but it's got some stepper motors, which are really, really quiet, quieter than what I'm used to. So that was really cool. So yeah, we broke this printer in this week, and that's what's on this printer. And the first thing that we printed was a Flexi Crocodile top hat. Well, I did a Benchy, but I don't have it here. We did a Benchy to calibrate it. But we did a Flexi Crocodile top hat, and this is from Flexi Factory. I recently just got on board with Flexi Factory. They're well known for their articulated dragons. And I've been on an articulated kick this week, and I'm going to warn you, if you're not into articulated stuff, you might want to stop watching right now, because using the white simple filament from FOKOOS, we printed the articulated dragon here. Let's give it a little bit less light here so you can see him. And this is the that's a dragon, a Flexi Crocodile top hat, not the articulated dragon. So it's basically a skeleton. But the thing I love about it the most is we've got a crocodile head with a grin on his face with a top hat. You know, I might just remix this and just print the head. The head is like my favorite part of this. Like, the body's cool. I like the articulated stuff like that, but this is what got my attention, because I'm a Florida Gators fan. So, Florida Gators alumni. I went to school there, graduated. Go Gators. And this just looks like a Florida Gator with a top hat to me. That's why I probably one of the reasons why I subscribed to their Patreon. I like their dragon, but I saw this gator and I was like, man, very, very good. So this is with the FOKOOS printer. We printed this. This was one of our first prints that we did that wasn't a calibration print. So it came out okay. This is using their white filament that the FOKOOS printer came with. They They supplied some filament, and yeah, there it is. So yeah, the articulated Crocodile with the top hat was the first thing we printed. Now the next thing that we printed on the FOKOOS, I'm being careful now, I got a lot of stuff over here, is a model from fotismint. And I want to do something a little bit bigger. I felt confident to do something a little bit bigger on the FOKOOS, so I was like, let me do Grogu. Yeah, let's do Mr. Grogu here. And we did this with the neon yellow that we got from JayzTwoCents from Printed Solid, from their monthly subscription box. Remember, I talked about this on a past episode. And this particular guy is one of my favorite Grogu models. This one and Wexter, both of their models I really love. I don't have the Wexter here in front of me. But I like this one because he's holding a bone soup bowl. And I love that from the Mandalorian episode. And it is a good model. And it came out pretty good. Now, I had to print this twice because the first time I printed it, I tried to... I was testing the features of the FOKOOS, and it has a filament runout sensor. So that means that when you run out of filament, it'll let you know and you'll replace it. So I was almost out of the white filament. So I tried to do a test where I was like, all right, let me see if this filament runout sensor, let's see if this actually works. So I used the white filament until it was run out, and it got to like right here, right? And then I changed filaments. Problem was I did it wrong. I don't know what I did wrong exactly, but I did it wrong, and it kind of messed it up. And I printed it again. I was like, all right, let's try it with the Jesse. Let's try it with the Jesse filament. And lo and behold, this is what we got. We got the successful Grogu. I don't see anything wrong with this. I do need to do some more tweaking on the FOKOOS. And there's a lot of things I got to learn. Most of the stuff I need to learn has to do with no auto leveling, the software that's on this thing, and also the glass bed. I'm used to having a smooth PEI flexible magnetic sheet with all my Prusa printers. This has a glass bed, and it's got a smooth side and a texture side, and I'm quickly learning how to utilize those. But so far so good. I really haven't had any problems with the FOKOOS. I have a funny story. You guys want to hear it? Like to hear it? Here you go. I have a funny story. I put the material arm that you put the spool of filament on. I put it on backwards. I attached it to the top of the FOKOOS backwards. So what was happening was the spool wouldn't fit on the actual rod, on the rod arm. It was falling off. A full spool, because the sample spool they gave you was tiny, so that was fine. I put the full spool on there, and it was falling off. So I went to their Facebook group, saw some people had a similar issue, and they were like, the guy was like, check your material arm. I think you put it on backwards. And I was like, wait a minute. And lo and behold, that's exactly what I did. I'm not embarrassed about it because it was a very easy build. Very easy build. If that's the only problem I'm going to have, then so be it. 2 ribbons, 4 screws, and you got to make sure you get those 2 screws right. Otherwise, your filament spool won't fit. But that was my adventures with the FOKOOS printer. I am going to be showing it off a little bit more this week on my stream at twitch.tv/Bwana if you guys haven't checked it out. Thank you, FOKOOS, for sending this printer. We're going to be learning it, talking about it a lot more in the future. I do want to do some live streams with it as well, just on the printer itself and nothing else. So that's one of the reasons why I'm rearranging my setup so I can accommodate these new plans that I have for the FOKOOS printer. So that was the FOKOOS. Okay, now what else was on the printer? We had some Matter Hackers quantum filament that came in, and man, I love this filament. So I talked about Flexi Factory, and you could probably hear what I'm grabbing. I talked about Flexi Factory and their Imperial Dragon. So guess what I printed? It's hooked on my shirt. Roar. I printed the Flexi Factory Imperial Dragon. Check them out. I got a whole video on this thing that I put up on my Bwana Labs YouTube channel. I want you guys to subscribe to that. I'm going to put the link in the show description. Subscribe to my Bwana Labs YouTube account because I'm going to be putting more time lapses. We put a time lapse of this guy up. This was printed on my Prusa MK3S Plus, and it is enormous. It's 26 inches long. It is full size. It's enormous. And what's hilarious is that I put these up for sale. I printed 2 of them. I put these up for sale and I announced it on my live stream, and they immediately sold. So this one, this is not mine. The one I'm holding here, this is going to get shipped out right after I finish recording this episode. This is not mine. It's actually been bought. We're going to be printing more, so stay tuned to BwanaLabs.com. We're going to be printing more in different colors, along with some more Matter Hackers quantum filament. Once I get more in, it's a very popular filament. This is the blue raspberry. Their most popular color from Matter Hackers is the blue raspberry, and it is very, very, very cool. So look for more. We're going to be putting those up on BwanaLabs.com. So that is the Imperial Dragon in Matter Hackers Quantum. So please look forward to it. Now, the next part I'm really excited about because it involves my sponsor, which is this guy. Boop. Polymaker. Polymaker sent me, thank you so much, Polymaker, some silk filament. And I am excited. I am excited. They sent me a good amount of silk filament and various colors. I've never printed with their silk PLA. And I'll put the links in the show description of all the filaments that they gave me. And we've been busy. On top of me rearranging my printers and everything, on top of me rearranging stuff and getting stuff ready with the FOKOOS, I've also been trying is a key word, trying to print as much as I can with these silk filaments. And the first one is the silk blue. And this was kind of a calibration print, but not necessarily. But this is Captain America from fotismint. And it's a beautiful color. Let me tell you, it's a beautiful color. Very beautiful color. You can see the textures on his uniform very clearly. A very successful print, I think. I don't see much wrong with this at all. I had to print it twice. The first time I printed it was like the very first time I printed with this filament. And I'm using, on this particular print, I was using a nozzle X, which is a hard nozzle. So I started at a certain temperature. And I kind of could see as it was printing that, hey, this is under extruding a little bit. So I raised the temperature a little bit because you have to do that with nozzle X's. They have to be ran a little bit hotter than a brass nozzle. And then once I did that, the print improved. But the bottom half of the print was kind of a poor integrity. It was very, you could just squeeze it and crack it because it was, it was under extruding. But as it went higher up, it got better. So I ended up tossing that print and then I reprinted it with that temperature. And here we have it. A nice blue Captain America bust. fotismint, patreon.com/fotismint. If you haven't checked out his Patreon, go do it today. fotismint has some great models. And if I didn't mention it before, go to Flexi Factory's Patreon at patreon.com/flexifactory as well. We're going to put all those links in the show description. Okay, so that was Captain America in the blue. And we're still on the blue. And I am going to show you the same thing that I showed you before with the Imperial Dragon. We did some silk filament prints of the Imperial Dragons. And these are very cool because they can kind of sit up. I don't know if I can do it while holding this. Let's see if I can do this while holding this. They can kind of sit like this when you put them down. And their head kind of like, it like locks in place. Is really cool. But this is a silk blue Polymaker filament. And I am very, very happy with this. It's a great color. Blue is my favorite color. So when I saw a silk blue, this is nice. I've got a little bit of a gloop boo-boo there. A little gloop boo-boo. I haven't cleaned this up yet. And this will be going on Bwana Labs as well. So stay tuned to that. Bwana Labs will be having more of these articulated dragons in various colors. Multiple colors, including this blue. So again, the silk PLA, really, really like it. I love these bright colors. And I think these dragons are a perfect way to display them. And finally, in the spirit of more dragons, what we got here, we got a magenta, silk magenta from Polymaker as well. And this one is just as beautiful. Not as long as the Quantum. We printed these on the Prusa Mini. So these are like 80%, I believe. I think they're 80% size. They're not exactly as big as the Matter Hackers Quantum. Let me see if I can compare sizes here. I apologize if you're listening. You can kind of see this one's got a bigger head. The one on your left. My left too. Interesting. Oh, I flipped the camera, that's why. Yeah, the 26-inch one, and I forgot what the length on this on the Prusa Mini version. So we're gonna have lots of different Prusa Mini versions. The Matter Hackers Quantum will have as I get filament. So when you go to Bwana Labs, if you don't see the Quantum version, it's because I'm out of stock, and we'll be restocking as quickly as we can. I'm not gonna put a lot of stock up there for the Matter Hackers Quantum because just of how long it could possibly take for the filament to get here. Last time I ordered it in January, and it got here in April. So I do not want people to order something from me and have to wait 4 months. So we're going to be very careful with the stock on that. So that's what's on the printer this week. Lots of silk PLA from Polymaker, Matter Hackers Quantum filament with the articulated Imperial Dragon. We've got the Crocodile Tophat from Flexi Factory. We've got the fotismint Captain America. We've got the fotismint Grogu. And we got stuff printing right this minute. Now, there's a bunch of other things that I want to show because I'm in the middle of printing them. And I was like, I need to go ahead and record this because it was getting late. And if I wait till everything's done, this episode will be probably published on Friday, maybe even Saturday, because some of these things I'm waiting on are going to take 15, 18 hours and stuff. And I had to reprint a couple things. So we're just going to have to save those for next week. There's so much I want to show you guys with the silk PLA from Polymaker, and I can't wait to show you. And what I'm doing with my print area, my lab, I'm really excited with how that's turning out. So I can't wait to show you all the things we're doing with the live streaming with the FOKOOS. I can't wait to show you so many exciting things with 3D printing here at Casa. They twitch.tv/Bwana/YouTube.com/Bwana/Twitter.com/Bwana. I just made up a giant URL with like all my things in it, besides Instagram. We don't talk about Instagram. I haven't updated Instagram in about 20 years. I need to get on that. Okay, thank you everybody for joining us on Print All the Things episode 9. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I tried my best to keep it condensed because we got a good amount of stuff. I wanted to have more actually, but I think this is a good amount of things. And I'm very excited to have a new printer added to the Bwana Labs, which is the FOKOOS Odin-5 F3 printer. And I've got now I've got 2 direct drive printers, so I'm excited about that. To join the MK3S, I have another direct drive. Pretty soon we'll be adding some resin to the mix. That's going to be fun. That's going to be real fun. I'm terrified and excited at the same time. Very, very fun. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. And remember, in all your 3D printing endeavors, just remember one little thing. Print all the things. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Patreon.com/Bwana. Please support me if you can. You're the best. All my patrons, you guys are the best. Thank you so much. Enjoy my Twitch streams at twitch.tv/Bwana. We stream almost daily. We've actually pushed back our start time a little bit. We start at 3 p.m. Eastern now. So if you can come by and check us out, that'd be great. All right. Take care of yourselves. Have a good one. Bye-bye.